It's the week before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, but this guy was. Well, I tell you what, it's been an interesting week to tell you the truth, especially when the Grinch decides to take the form of an NFL referee, if I tell you know what I mean. But first, let's get the basics out of the way. First, the Orange go down to D.C. for the first time in the great rivalry. The Orange take on Georgetown with Patrick Ewing as their coach. Now me, along with a few other Orange fans, kind of thought, maybe finally Georgetown's got some decent competition, because Georgetown started out undefeated. But guess who they had on their schedule? Cupcakes, with a little bit of vanilla or a little bit of other frosting, if you know what I mean. Of course, some teams can get fat on cupcakes. That's exactly what it seemed like Georgetown was doing. But for a while, it looked like the Orange was in deep trouble. Because, Georgetown was playing some pretty good basketball. And in fact, at one point in the second half, the Hoyas were up by 13 points. But then when one of their two main players fouled out, that's when the tide turned. And the Orange started as Aerosmith sang in one of their songs in the 80s, chipping away the stone. They kept chipping and chipping, with O'Shea Brissett turning in what is his best game so far in an orange uniform, chipping away, and then, right in the last minute, tying the game. And they did have several chances to maybe end the game in regulation, but it went into overtime. And you saw what chipping away the stone did to these Hoyas. The Orange go on and defeat the Hoyas in overtime. Another great chapter in this great rivalry. Because, hey, Manley Fieldhouse wasn't closed this time. Part of me wishes Georgetown could maybe join the ACC, but they can't do that because there's still Division I AA in a lot of other sports, if you know what I mean. Even football. But, be great to continue this rivalry. And as they close out this year, the Orange has some pretty decent non-conference games. UB tonight, St. Bonaventure Friday, Eastern Michigan and former Orange assistant Rob Murphy the 27th, and the start of ACC play on New Year's Eve against Virginia Tech. Gonna be an interesting way as the Orange close out their non-conference season and the year as they get ready for the big time, the ACC coming to town, if you know what I mean. They actually go down to Virginia Tech to tell the truth, but I digress. Interesting way to close out the year. Good job, Orange. Keep it up. We go from the Orange to Buffalo. Buffalo is still pretty much hanging on. This team is a fighter. And for the first time since 1999, they went 6-2 at home. Maybe a good sign. Because now the Bills are at 8-6 with their final two games on the road. Yeah, it was another interesting game. And the way we played in the first half, I thought this was going to turn into a rout against a team that manhandled New England at their home. Heck, they held the Patriots to 0-11 on third down. But I digress. It always seems as though they do good in the first half, but then the Bills seem to take the second half off. They were up 21-6, and then all of a sudden, here come the fish. Jay Cutler threw 3 interceptions, but it seems as though once the second half starts, the Bills can't move the ball like a fart in the wind. Hell, the only points they got in the second half was from a great interception return by Sharice Wright and Hauchka, who's been worth every penny that the Bills have paid him kicking that field goal. It seems as though they haven't got a good hands team either, because Miami kicked a field goal to get within 8, and then what happens? Preston Brown, who can't play linebacker worth a damn, is on the hands team, and he fumbles the ball. But thank God for Tre'Davious White and that interception. Come on, Bills, what are you trying to do? Give me a heart attack while you're at it? But whatever. An important win against Miami. And guess who we've got to close the season? Yeah, the thug, Rob Gronkowski. And also the pretty boy, or I should say pretty middle-aged because he's 40, Tom Brady. And the coach, who always wants to look like a hood, Bill Belichick. It's the Patriots at their home, which is a house of horrors for the Bills, and also closing out against this same Miami team. We're 8-6, and right now we're sitting in playoff contention. We gotta win these last 2 games, and we can finally end this drought. Boy, it would be something, wouldn't it? But come on, don't give me a heart attack. And speaking of Rob Gronkowski and the Patriots, who thinks that Pittsburgh got hosed on that call? Yeah, especially right there. I mean, Brady and also Gronkowski go downfield. Of course, that was a running touchdown by the Patriots, but Gronkowski did what he did 2 weeks ago against the Bills, and also act like a thug when he catches the 2-point conversion. But the call I'm talking about was the apparent winning touchdown by the Steelers, called back because of a stupid rule. Heck, Jesse James, no outlaw, caught the ball and he had control over the goal line. Of course, because the ball just slightly moved, guess what? They call it an incomplete pass. Then 2 plays later, Roethlisberger, trying on that fake spike, throws an interception. But I mean, hey, I digress. Looks as though the refs benefited the Patriots again, as they seem to have done the last 20 years. You know, it seems as though, hey, we don't want the Patriots to lose. We want pretty man Brady and also Gronkowski and Belichick to have another Super Bowl win. Because guess what? This victory, robbery, pretty much all but guarantees that the Patriots might have home field advantage again. Just what me and long-suffering Bills fans wants. Just what the Steelers want. To see Brady, Gronkowski, and Belichick celebrating again come February. You know, it's about time somebody stuck it to these knotheads. You know, the Patriots and all of their cronies have had their ways long enough. It's time for the Steelers to get back there and win the title again. Of course, maybe I should have something to say about it, but I digress. Well, this week, hopefully, we'll get the better of the Patriots. Bill style, if you know what I mean. And last but not least, I do want to talk about the Golden Globes. The 75th Golden Globes nominees were announced this past week. It seems as though the last few years you can't have an awards announcement without controversy. As they say, hey, no women directors were nominated. And of course, they say in this year of the Me Too movement there has to be something like that. In the past years they always talk about, hey, no diversity. No African American nominees, no nominees of this, no nominees of that. It always seems as though the Golden Globes has always got something to complain about. Hey, they felt like they picked the movies that had the best direction. You know, why can't you be satisfied for once? Just enjoy the moment and also, you know, just enjoy the fact that some pretty good movies were nominated. Of course, in this year of Wonder Woman and also in the year of the Me Too, you know, you got to have a lot of the sympathy for the women in Hollywood. But, you know, could we have just 1 year where there's no complaining about nominees for major awards? And also, Rose McGowan going off on Meryl Streep talking about Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, Rose, we know you're passionate about getting this monster away, maybe getting him behind bars for the rest of his life. But don't go after Meryl Streep like that. And one other thing, when you show up for like a photo op, don't look like another good Irish woman, Sinead O'Connor, if you know what I mean. Pick a hairstyle. I'm Ken Haas, and that's all what I have for this year. See you next year.